y'all, it's your girl Millie Chun. Let's get into the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Thailand. Let's go. First off, y'all, I am so glad to have Portia on my TV. I miss the ditzy, shady Portia. Like, she is so much fun. And you realize what a housewife is supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've seen some messed up housewife shows. With Portia on here, she brings it back to me. That's what we're missing. So we have Portia from Atlanta. We have Leah from New York. Those two are alone. We have Alexis and Marisol from Miami. We have Candace and Giselle from Potomac. And we have Heather and Whitney from Salt Lake City. It's a pretty good group. So they brought Jen Shah up. They just found out that Jen had pleaded guilty. So they were all waiting until Heather got there because, of course, Giselle was there, and then Whitney had come, and Giselle went right to it. Like, she was like, we'll just wait for Heather. Pepsi is the best concierge, and Marisol is definitely somebody I would love to hang out with. Like, I have never watched Miami. I don't know why, I just haven't, and people have said, you need to. I may have to, like, binge it at some point. So Heather has arrived with all her insecurities and her low self-esteem, right? Heather wants everyone to be her friend. She wants everyone to like her. And, like, she needs to get out of that. But then they ask her about Jen, and she said something like, you know, either Jen lied to the judge or she lied to me. Heather, Jen Shah lied to you, girl. Child, when Portia was like, ooh, they're trying to get me back. Bravo. And they had to remind her, this is Peacock. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I miss Portia on my TV. So the big thing's been going around is Giselle telling Marisol and Alexis that they cannot speak Spanish. Like, literally, I was sitting in a room with two people that were speaking Spanish today. And I was like, what would I look like telling these men that I don't know what they're talking about, and they could be talking about me, so I would appreciate them not speaking Spanish, their language. Giselle is crazy. Candace told Leah Wright, don't tell Giselle any of your business. Like, don't really trust her. Just keep it very surface, because she will hold on to it and use it for ammunition later. Marisol is drinking all the time, and I just really realized, like, Heather's need to be liked, like, really messed her up, like, with Leah. Like, Leah is a recovering addict, right? And we've seen her on Real Housewives of New York. Those who have watched her, like, she can be off the rails. And she's in a good place. So for Heather to say, we're going to get her drunk, she took offense to that, as well as she should have. Now, what I'm super tired of is Whitney and Heather's argument. They have brought that all the way from Salt Lake City all the way to Thailand. Your cousins, you talked about the jazz tickets, you lied about this. Girl, it's over. It's done. We've had a whole show about it. We are in Thailand. Let's not bring this up anymore. It's time to let it go. P.S. Is Hennessy sponsoring this show? Because it's like bottles of Hennessy just placed at different spots. Like, I've watched all 3 episodes right now, right? And in each episode, it's a bottle of Hennessy, like, in the corner of the cabinet, on the table when they were visiting the elephants. Like, Hennessy, what's up? Sometimes I think Heather is really not made for this. Like, her skin is not thick enough. Like, she could never be, like, on Atlanta or on Potomac. Like, she would fold. You know, she just needs to not need the acceptance of everyone. And it's hard to watch her need that all the time. Did y'all think that Giselle's game was shady? Like, who did you like or who you didn't like, however that went? Did you think that was shady? I thought that was a little shady, right? Because they kind of dumped on Heather a lot. And I'm telling you something, I love Leah. She is like she's my Virgo sister, and I love her. Like, are we done yet? Like, I'm bored. So I think Alexis kind of summed up Giselle, right? Because she was like, you ask a lot of questions. And she said, that's something we need to do on my show because we don't ask a lot of questions. But then she said, I feel like you do that because you don't want anybody to ask you questions and know what you have going on. And that is exactly correct. Giselle as soon as she sat down, she lit in on Whitney because she wants to know about Jen Shaw. She wants to know about Whitney and Heather's situation, right? She wants to know stuff that's going on in the Miami girl's life. Like, what's going on with you at this point, right? So I'm going to do part 2 later. But I enjoyed this and I'm excited about it. It's your girl Millie Chun and I'll talk to y'all later.
Hey
Bye.
y'all, it's your girl Millie Chun. Let's get into episode 2 of the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Thailand. Let's go.
Y'all, Pepsi is so sweet and he loves Portia so much. And on this particular episode, it's Leah's day to host. So they're going to the elephant park. Candace is hosting the evening event with the lady boys, and Heather is trying to get everyone's acceptance still. So Candace talks about when she and Portia had kind of fell out, right? The season where Monique and Candace had got into it, like Portia kind of took Monique's side. And when Portia had that little live show on Bravo, she said that Candace had to sell her house so she could give her mother the money. And that's where that started. So Alexia has like a very compelling story about her ex-husband, and she was telling Leah about it on the bus, right? And then Leah got in her feelings and she started talking about what she needed to talk about. So I remember this, like when her grandmother was passing away and she was on the show and she was saying how Bravo or her castmates didn't want her to go. And one day she was like, I just gotta go. And she was on her way to see her grandmother. And her mother called her when she was on the way and said, she's already passed. So Leah, I remember she said that. She was in her feelings about it. But then Giselle and Whitney comes on and says that would have never happened with Bravo or the execs or anything. No one would have ever made her stay when she had an emergency like that. So, child, I don't know who to believe. So as Leah is ending her story, Candace just interrupts her and tells her that she and Chris, tells the bus that she and Chris have been going through a lot. She even used the word divorce, child, had been brought up. She said that Chris had worked hard for 25 years, and during the pandemic, he lost his restaurant. So he had like an identity crisis. So now they kind of work differently. Like he doesn't have like actual times when he's off. And it's like she's working and he's off, or he's working and she's off. So they don't spend a lot of time together. And she said they had a very big fight before she came on this trip to Thailand. Child, I had no idea. What? Child, so over there on Portia's bus, they were talking about Marisol not having any kids. And they were saying, did you want some? She said, yes, but it wasn't in the cards for her. And then Portia said she's always had fertility issues. She said she had issues before PJ was born. And then, child, she said she had some after. Portia was trying to get pregnant after? Was that by Dennis? Or was that by Simon? What? So Portia had asked Pepsi to get her some KFC. Child, Pepsi done went and found some KFC in Thailand. I don't know why I say it like that, because they do have it overseas. But she had a big bucket of chicken all to herself. And when Whitney said that she didn't get the chicken, Portia was like, they didn't bring it to you? Portia, you ate that girl's chicken. I'm not surprised. So when they had got back to the house before they got ready to go to this party, right? Whitney wanted Heather to braid her hair or whatever. Heather's still in there talking about what they have gone through, talking about you broke up with me. Heather, I need you to be a grown woman. Like, you gotta stop this. You are getting on my natural nerve. Like, just stop it. So then they was talking about, Giselle was in her confessional. Giselle says she is not in a relationship because she chooses not to be, because they was talking about stuff at the table. But she said that does not mean she doesn't dibble and dabble, and you don't know the men's she's involved with. But they talk about it in the episode 3. I'm gonna get to that. Child, but then we get to the party, right? And Candace is hosting this particular night. Candace is giving out people's names. So her name is Petty LaBelle, which is,
not on task for her. But child, she gave Giselle the name She Need a Man, and she gave Portia the name She Take a Man. That was number one petty. I'm proud of you for that, Candace. Let's keep going. So when Portia realized what her name was, she was like, you can't take a man if he free. Then later on she explains. I love Portia and Giselle on the confessional couch. They are hilarious. Okay, child. So then Candace is like, oh, I want the OGs to tell a story. And Portia was like, no, we want you to tell a story. Like, you have something to say. She was like, well, word on the curb is you done went over here to this girl house. And 5 minutes later, you done took her man. Portia was like, that's not how it goes. But y'all, then they played the clip when Portia and her sister and her friend had gone over to Fallon's house. And you remember when Simon had come out? Y'all, when Fallon introduced Portia to Simon went in to hug Portia, and Portia quickly gave him a fist bump. They was already messing around, child. Y'all, go rewind it. This is the second episode. It's towards the end, right before Candace performs. Y'all, he had his arms wide open for Portia. She quickly gave him the fist bump. Let's move on. So Portia went on to say that she knew Simon right before. And I think it was a little bit that asked, did Fallon cheat on him? Portia said she wasn't going to speak on that. But of course, Giselle did. And Giselle said that allegedly Fallon had cheated on Simon. That's why Simon left. And then Portia said she went into Simon's DMs. So she was already messing with that man. But child, the women were in support of Portia. That doggone Heather said, if a man likes me more than he likes somebody else, yep, I'll take him. Whitney said, I'm not proud of it, but I have taken a man. And Marisol said, did you see that ring? Yeah, I'll take one for that ring. This is a mess. So then Giselle, who doesn't have anything that she wants to talk about to the ladies, asks Alexia about her story, like about her husband who had passed away. So Alexia has gone into this story, and Leah is over there talking about how bored she is, a snooze fest, and that's pretty much where it ended. And then she tried to tell Marisol that she didn't say that, but Leah, you did say that you were bored, and you did call it a snooze fest. Just because you heard it before doesn't mean the table doesn't want to hear it. Y'all, that's all I got for episode 2. I'll be back. It's your girl, Millie Chan.
Hey, y'all, it's your girl, Millie Chan. Let's get into this mid-season finale of Love and Marriage CC. Let's go. Joy is still mad. Ashley is over it. She's not apologizing anymore. I think it's just going to take some time because I really feel like this is something that Joy and Ashley can get over. Now, Ashley was wrong for telling Joy's secret, and Joy was wrong for going against Clifton, telling it all in the first place. So they were all wrong. Joy said that she and Clifton were going to do it and make an announcement together. But I do appreciate the fact that Clifton did listen to her, and they had something very intimate just for them, and she's going to do the bigger wedding for him. I love that. Irena will forever be the peacemaker. So you carrying bones, the bone collector, that's not for you, Irena. Just continue to be the peacemaker. I'm so glad that Quick has a clean bill of health, right? And it is scary that he doesn't know what it was, how it happened, or if it will ever come back. But I'm just glad to know that he's good now. I'm so happy about that. Ashley, you look absolutely beautiful in this white. Like, this is a great confessional look. I need you to be a little bit more happy when Quick calls you with great news. But girl, you look really good. So Joy is meeting with her friend, right? And she's talking about the situation. So it seems like what it was is that Ashley and some more people had said something about Sherelle's hair. And Joy found that to be phony. That got back to Ashley. Ashley was mad and told her friend Alicia that Joy was married. I feel like we can get over this, ladies. First of all, this unit that Irena has on is beautiful, and I want it. A swallowologist? What is that? Like, do you go to school for that? Like, is that a special school? And what is going on with these intermissions? Irena, I'm gonna need you. I think you're the only woman I've ever heard to say that. that that's not something you want for yourself. How could you not want that for yourself? You're being so selfish. Jamie, salute, sir. Okay, now we get to what we really need to get to. So here's a Christmas party, right? Joy said she wasn't coming, but now Joy says you can't have Christmas without Joy. She walks in Ashley's house, and does not say anything. Joy, no ma'am. Joy said they don't have to be friends. They can be cordial. Then Ashley was like, I brought you here, not Irene and Jamie. I did this. Then she's like, you did not make me. And child, Ashley called Ready to Love a game show. Not Irene could stay outside too. Ashley. Not Sherelle talking about why we fighting around Jesus' birthday. Girl, I know that's right. I told y'all, I don't know if this is where Joy wants to be, right? Because she can take it or leave it. And Ashley did give her the D because she's now a friend, not a friend. I'll talk to y'all later. Hey, y'all, it's your girl, Millie Chan, and it's time to put a ring on it. Episodes 1 and 2. Let's go. So we have Dunbar and Chance, right? They have been dating for a year. Dunbar is very controlling, and Chance is not as domesticated as he would like her to be, but they are a little confusing because she says that she does everything for him. Dunbar says he wants a woman that is going to cook his food, wash his clothes, and rub his feet. Sir, that's why they have nail salons, to get pedicures. Oh my God. Are people doing that? Now, Dunbar is ready to get married at the end of the year, but he needs Chance to be more submissive to him, and not submissive in her own time, but submissive when he feels like she should be submissive. Like, I don't like that. So Dr. Stacy Johnson, she just starts them right off. Like, the women are going on dates right now. They got them set up. So Chance is going out with someone named Philip. And Dunbar is a little ridiculous. Like, Chance gets to the house. First of all, Philip is taller than Chance. And Chance seems to be a really nice person. And then he, like, prayed with them. He told them, you know, she's his queen. And then he told him to bring him some food back. So they're on a date, and he kind of reaches for her hand, Philip does, and she moves it back. But then she gives it to him to help her up the steps, right? So then they're sitting down there talking. She's very protective of her man until she gets to talking about her situation, and Philip is paying attention. You see what I'm saying? Like, she's getting something that she doesn't have often. But I thought it was funny when she came back to the house, right? And Dunbar reached in for a kiss and she turned her head. Like, it was a little change there, baby. It was a little change. But one thing about Chance, she says she doesn't think that Dunbar is controlling, right? And Dr. Stacy is having a problem with it because she said they're very confusing and they're not taking this process serious. So they're going to have some words later on, but we'll get into all that. Let's go on to Ricky and Catherine. Oh my gosh. So Ricky and Catherine have known each other for a while, right? They didn't want to have a long distance relationship. Then they kept talking back and forth. So she was in Dallas on some family stuff. And so he asked her to move to Atlanta with him. Now, mind you, she moved to Atlanta with him into his mother and father's house with his sister and her 2 kids, and occasionally his brother coming over. So why would you move from your own stuff into a house with all these people? That's crazy. So here's the thing about Ricky. He's been married before, right? And Ricky really kind of doesn't want to get married again. But Catherine wants to be married. So why is Catherine even there? Because Ricky really and truly doesn't have plans on doing this. Because he says he does not understand how people could go back through that again. So she goes on a date with Mark. Mark comes in with flowers. And Ricky was like, that's so cool because I haven't given her flowers. First of all, Ricky hasn't taken her anywhere because he really don't have the money. And I don't think Ricky has a job. So they're on the date and she's having a good time. And it's like, I don't think it's ever good for a man to let another man make his woman smile. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened in this situation. And Ricky's not cool for dropping his shortcomings on Catherine from his previous situation. And he hasn't been able to do the things that his girl needs to have done to make her feel special. So, but at the end of it, she chose not to go back out with Philip. So we'll see who she's going to choose next time. Now, Jaya and Jasha, they seem to be the two who have a hold of this. Like, they seem to be the more reasonable people. They're more thought out. They didn't have any boundaries. They just said, go in for this experience and just see if it's something that I need to do, you need to do. They were real, like, they were real open to everything. They travel a lot, but she's ready to get married. He says maybe 2 more years, but I get that she's a little older because she's ready to have children, and he's not ready to do that. Like, I feel in my heart, if it's something that you want to do, if you want to have children, and you're with a man who doesn't, then you should no longer be with that man. Because that's settling. Ladies, we gotta not settle. We gotta keep moving. Let's go. Kyle was a lot, right? He did mention about having a picnic, and that came out of nowhere because she hadn't mentioned that to him, and that's what she wanted to do with Jasha, right? But she didn't choose to go back on a date with him because he was too much, and I agree with that. But he opened her eyes to some things, right? Let's go on to episode 2. So in episode 2, they start with Dunbar and Chance, and they're doing a lot. But she was asked, did she want to go back out with Philip? And she was like, no, she did not want to do that. She said she would like to date a more mature man. Now, Dunbar went out with Crystal, and Crystal is a minister. She is by the Bible, honey. And as they were out on their date, she said that she feels like, and he did not ask her, at least this is not what's shown on television. She said she feels like her position with her male mate is to be submissive. He asked her exactly what that meant. She was like the head of the household. He is the leader, blah, blah, blah. She said everything that he wanted. Now, the little difference is, even though the men that the other ladies had gone out with, they said things that the women needed to hear. But in this particular situation, everything that Crystal said to him, like, he just, like, yes, he even starts second guessing himself in the relationship he's in with Chance. And he used the word love. He said he loved her soul and her spirit. Child. So Dr. Stacy comes to see Chance and Dunbar and try to figure out really what's going on with them, because they seem like confusing to her. He said that he doesn't know how to be in a relationship with a strong woman. That's not a man. Like, who needs that? That is a recipe for destruction. Like, he needs to go with Crystal, because this is going to be bad. Now, Catherine and Ricky. Catherine has kept the roses, and she has kept the roses by Ricky's side of the bed to make him remember these are the things that she would like to have. He wasn't too happy with the conversation, right? She's not going back out with Mark because she feels like Mark has the same situation as Ricky. He's been divorced. He has kids, and she just doesn't want that. So when Ricky gets ready to go out with Sheila, he gets in the car with Sheila. Like, when she was supposed to pick him up. And then, why is he smiling so much with Sheila? Like, the thing is this. It's always nice when it's something new. You know what I'm saying? Because I guarantee you, Sheila is not sitting in front of Ricky thinking, oh, I love to move in the home with you, your mother, your father, your sister, her 2 kids, and your occasional brother. I know she's not thinking that. And he told Sheila that the reason he was divorced because his ex-wife was in the entertainment business and she was not home a lot. Sir, well, clearly you was at home and you should have been supportive, because clearly she's the one to bring the money into the house. And Catherine is ready to move out, as she should, because she is an adult. Let's keep going. So Joya and Joshua, I think I'm saying his name right. So his date was Celine, right? Celine was beautiful. Like body, dress, hair. Like, she was beautiful. And now Joya feels like she should have set some boundaries for Joshua. I know I'm saying their names wrong, but you know who I'm talking about. So she feels like he should have set some boundaries. But they're having a good conversation. And she likes to travel, he loves to travel, and that is where his mind is, because most men are just tunnel vision. They think about what it is they actually want and not everything else around it. So I haven't watched episode 3, but when I watch it, I'll bring it to you. It's your girl Millie Chun. I hope you've enjoyed this. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.